My wife asked why I never talk about my brother anymore. I showed her the visitor log from the prison. Melissa found the old photo album while cleaning out the closet. Pictures from college, holidays, random weekends I'd forgotten about. She stopped on a photo of me and Danny at my graduation, his arm around my shoulder, both of us grinning like idiots. You never mention him, she said quietly. In 4 years together, you've talked about him maybe twice. I thought you two were close. I took the album from her hands and closed it. Told her we don't really talk anymore. She asked what happened, why we grew apart, whether it was something that could be fixed. I didn't answer. Just walked to my desk, unlocked the bottom drawer, and handed her a folded stack of papers. Visitor logs from Coleman Federal Correctional. 6 years of weekly visits, every single Saturday without exception. She looked at the pages for a long time. Her face shifted from confusion to something else. You visit him every week, she said slowly. Every week for 6 years, but you never talk about him. You told your parents you cut him off. I sat down across from her. This was the conversation I'd been avoiding since we met. The one Danny made me promise to never have. What everyone knows is that Danny attacked a man outside my apartment building, I said. Beat him so badly the guy spent 3 months in the hospital. Traumatic brain injury, shattered eye socket, broken ribs. Danny got 15 years for aggravated assault. My parents disowned him. Told everyone he had problems they didn't see coming. The family acts like he doesn't exist. Melissa stared at me. But that's not the whole story. No, it's not. 6 years ago, I was being stalked by a coworker named Victor. It started small. Comments about my schedule, mentions of restaurants I'd been to, details he shouldn't have known. Then it escalated. Notes on my car, showing up at places I was, messages describing what I was wearing. I reported it to HR, to the police, to anyone who would listen. They said without direct threats or physical contact, there was nothing they could do. Told me to document everything and call if something happened. Victor knew exactly how far he could go without crossing the legal line. He wanted me to know he was always watching, that I was never safe. I stopped sleeping, stopped going out, started looking over my shoulder every second of every day. Danny was the only one I told. He wanted to confront Victor immediately. I begged him not to, said it would only make things worse, that the police would handle it eventually. Then Victor broke into my apartment. I came home from work and he was sitting on my couch, just sitting there in the dark, waiting for me. He had a knife on the coffee table. He said he wanted to talk about our future together. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything except stand there while he explained in detail what was going to happen next. Danny showed up 20 minutes later. We had plans to watch the game that night. He walked in without knocking like he always did. Saw Victor holding me against the wall with the knife pressed to my throat. What happened next took less than 2 minutes. Danny didn't stop until Victor wasn't moving. By the time the police arrived, I was sitting on the floor in shock, and Danny was standing over Victor's body, checking if he was still breathing. He was, barely. Danny told the police he'd come over and found Victor in my apartment. Said Victor attacked him first, that he acted in self-defense, but things got out of hand. He never mentioned the stalking, never mentioned that Victor had a knife to my throat when he walked in, never mentioned that he saved my life. The prosecutor didn't believe the self-defense claim. The injuries were too severe, too deliberate. Danny took a plea deal to avoid trial, 15 years. I visited him the day after sentencing, asked him why he lied, why he didn't let me testify about what Victor had been doing for months. He looked at me through the glass and said something I think about every single day. If you tell them the truth, you spend the rest of your life being the victim, the guy who got stalked, the guy whose brother had to save him. You carry that forever. This way, I'm just the violent brother who snapped. You get to move on. You get to have a normal life. You get to be happy. I told him that wasn't fair, that he was throwing away his life to protect me from something I should have handled myself. He just shrugged. You're my little brother. There's nothing to handle. This is what I'm supposed to do. I visit every Saturday because it's the only thing he'll let me do. I don't talk about him because he made me promise. Said if I ever told anyone the real story, he'd stop accepting my visits. The lie protects me. His silence is his gift. Melissa put down the visitor logs. She was crying. He gave up 15 years of his life so you wouldn't feel guilty. He gave up 15 years so I could live mine. She wiped her eyes and looked at me differently than she ever had before. Next Saturday, she said quietly, I'm coming with you. I called Danny that night to tell him my wife knew. He was quiet for a long time. Then he asked if she was good to me. I said she was. He said that's all that mattered, that he'd like to meet her. I hung up and cried for the first time in 6 years.